Now we move on to our first presentation. I invite Lavanya on stage to invite Vishnu Moorthi sir.
Good morning, everyone. CA Vishnu Moorthi H, Tax and Financial Compliance SME for RWAs. CA Vishnu Moorthi H, BCom FCA, is a senior chartered accountant and founding partner of Vishnu Daya and Co LLP, with over 3 decades of practice in direct and indirect taxation, financial audits, and regulatory compliances for business and residential associations. As the tax and financial compliance subject matter expert, he focuses on educating participants about association formation structures, builder to RWA financial handover audits, GST and income tax implications, TDS obligations, and practical internal control and accounting systems, sharing knowledge in an objective professional manner. Thank you. We welcome you, sir.
Good morning, everyone. I think I must thank the organizers for I must thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity of being here. Luckily, I also came in time and I could hear the good words of Mr. Hegde. I think it's a lot of inspiration. This morning, I was also thinking about this concept of this seminar, where they said a 360-degree approach, to the subject. I was thinking that whatever we, talk, possibly only 36 out of 360 we can, let us say, touch, because you would all experienced that these associations today again have become, whether it is a hell or heaven, is the kind of scenarios we find in some of the, associations. We hear a lot of struggles, a lot of fightings, a lot of, complaints on petty things, including on the auditors. I heard that some associations, they said the auditor has not verified the conveyance voucher claimed by the some secretary or somebody, where the auto driver has not confirmed the voucher for the having received the money. Like this, we are, so these are not because of the money, it is because of the approach. It is, from there, we had a lot of litigations, where, that are going to the courts for the very existence of the association, the management of the association, frauds in the association, everything. So I felt that we will be definitely, we can talk about 36, but the others 0. That, friends, in my view, they cannot be resolved, they have to be dissolved. So in my presentation, I thought I should take you through what are the thoughts we can have to dissolve some of these problems, which is my last slide, which I will touch upon. I was not imagining, but after hearing Mr. Hegde's speech, I felt that last slide should be the only slide that we need to talk. The rest of it is actually not required. Like after hearing him, like when you say the greed, if we can stop, and if the contentment that comes in the life, then you don't require many discussions at all. We don't require the course to go, because all these questions will start from the, right from the whether the association, should it be an association which has to be registered through a, as per the Karnataka Apartment Ownership Act, or can it be a society? Can it be a housing society? Which is the right forum? And whether the society which is performing, is it, illegally performing? From there we have got questions. Now, after all, what is the objective of this society? The society is created to ensure that we just, create one vehicle to make this collective effort to manage this whole project in a best possible manner. But then we go and very question the very association itself, its existence, its creation, and then we spend years and years in the courts on the very same matter, which we'll see. So, therefore, uh, it is the approach of the people. Now, the word cooperative society, I think in the society, except cooperation, everything else is there. The word cooperation is the one basic thing is missing. Every aspect is found, but cooperation is not found. Therefore, fortunately, in Karnataka, we are not allowing cooperative society as a RWA. So, because this has no meaning, cooperation is not there. Fortunately, I think whoever elders, they said cooperative society is not the one recognized here. It is not the society which is recognized here. It is the association which is created through the deed of declaration, which is the one which is a legal vehicle that is required to be used for the purpose of registration. Therefore, conceptually, just to clear my message, cooperative society is not the right vehicle. Society is not the right vehicle. It is the RWA which is created through the deed of declaration, which is the right vehicle. I just thought, let me answer this question through this concept of, no cooperation, no society. It's only, what is created through the Builders Association. Friends, my subject I try to cover under these headings were legal status of RWA, then takeover of the maintenance from the developer. At that time, what are the things one need to look at? Apart from the technical aspects, there are quite a few other aspects what one need to look at it. Then, of course, management, what we need to look at, internal controls, income tax provisions, and we'll have questions. Maybe questions will shift because my brother Dayanand is going to handle the GST part of it. Thereafter, we can have a question answer together or as we go along. So the RWA is a collective body of apartment owners in multi-unit residential project, legally responsible for managing shared facilities, infrastructure maintenance, all of them you know it. It acts as a primary vehicle for resident welfare, conflict resolution, and transparent community governance. Essential for property value maintenance, asset protection, and harmonious collective living. We need not talk about it legal. Now, coming to the legal framework, as I said, Apartment Ownership Act is there, Karnataka Apartment Ownership Act, under which there is a separate provision to, which talks about the association, its constitution, how it has to be constituted, and it is through the deed of declaration that the developer, when he declares the entire project as under the Apartment Ownership Act, that he need to also create these bylaws, and through that bylaws, this association can be, come into existence. We have Societies Registration Act, which is there in Karnataka. Now, earlier, quite a few societies were registered under this act. Now, whether Societies Registration Act is a right, enactment to register a RWA was the question. It went several times to various courts, and high courts have held that Societies Registration Act is not the correct act that one should use for the purpose of registration, because under the Societies Registration Act, there are 9 objects which have been brought out in the law for which a society can be registered. And none of these objects cover a maintenance activity of an apartment. Therefore, under that theory, societies which are registered under the Societies Registration Act have been held to be not valid. Therefore, they had to go back to create a fresh bylaws and register. Next is as the Cooperative Societies Act, which like Maharashtra, we have Cooperative Society Act where housing societies are there, where the societies can be registered and they can do the maintenance. Unfortunately, in Karnataka, again, Cooperative Societies Act, the objects for which Cooperative Societies Act, societies can be registered, they do not have the maintenance of these buildings as the objects, and therefore Cooperative Societies Act is also not the right act under which one can seek the registration to run a RWA activity. Now, like we just heard that there is a big work that is happening behind us, where they want to come up with a framework, proper framework to regulate these RWAs, register and regulate. We hope that a good law will come shortly. I think your government of Karnataka is working, while central government is also working. I think we expect this to be there shortly. RERA, of course, we have subject expert in the afternoon going to speak on RERA, where there is a requirement that within a period of 3 months from the date of the completion, the as a builder has to facilitate creation of the association for RWA activities. Coming to registration process, you need to have a bylaws. Now, as far as that developers are concerned today, they themselves are doing through, while they declare the deed of declaration. In the deed of declaration, entire common areas in the project. Now, in Karnataka, the apartment owners will own their unit, and they will also own the corresponding undivided interest in the land. Unlike in Maharashtra, where the undivided interest in the land is owned by the society, in Karnataka, it is the flat owner. He also owns undivided interest in the land. In other words, to the extent of the built-up area that is there in the complex, the proportionate land area is allocated to each of these units based on the area, and then each one of them own a undivided interest. Nobody can seek partition. They own it as a collectively as an undivided basis. Now the developer is required to declare this what is called as all other areas in the project, which are other than the specific area which is owned by the purchaser. His specific area is only the apartment. When he comes out, the corridor is a common area. Then whatever he does, everything else is a common area. So those areas are declared by the developer under the deed of declaration as a common area, and that is the subject matter what we are going to talk. The unit which is to be handed over to the owner, the maintenance of that unit inside is his responsibility, while everything else other than these individual units, it becomes a responsibility of the collective responsibility of all the people, and that is what declaration the developer does. Now, in the process of that declaration, developer also declares the bylaw. He creates the bylaws, and he says that how the association should be formed, what are the administrative methodologies, and what are the how to create the how the appoint the whole president, secretaries, how the voting should happen, how the quorum. Even there are some cases where in a smaller society, even getting a quorum itself is a problem. Let us say we say that 50% of the owners should attend the AGM. Unfortunately, you will not get it. So what is the remedy in such a scenario? So we provide a simple thing that, let us say the board, AGM will be adjourned for another 30 minutes, and thereafter, whoever person present, that itself is the quorum. That way, these kind of regulations are provided in the bylaws, so that the administration of the association is facilitated. So entire bylaws which are required for the administration is provided by the developer. Then, of course, they also keep a clause that the residents, once they take over, then they can amend these bylaws from time to time. It is not that what developer writes is the final. Always the association can pass a resolution and amend every clause, so that what they feel more appropriate for their community, they can go and amend it. So there is a procedure to register through the sub-registrar. So therefore there is no other regulating authority as far as these RWAs are concerned, where you need to go and register. It is a sub-registrar who will be registering. Now, based on that itself, then the association comes into play. Then, of course, you appoint the office bearers to take it forward. So unfortunately, in Karnataka, although I said that Cooperative Society Act or Societies Act is not the right vehicle, we have got some of the societies which are historically created, which are governed by them, they are continuing. Today, even if you go today and register, they are still registering these kind of societies. So therefore, there are these kind of societies we'll find, but I think slowly once the new act comes, possibly there will be more direction from that point of view. Now, when it comes to dispute resolutions, now, let us say there are disputes, how do you go and address? Of course, now we can go to RWA also to resolve the disputes. Otherwise, in the case of through a deed of declaration, then you can go to the town planning authorities to, let us say, go and get your grievances redressed. Then, of course, courts are there to take over the next aspect. I think these are all, you are aware, maintenance and infrastructure, what are the kind of activities of an association, what are the responsibilities? They have security, housekeeping, repair, etc. All of you are knowing. Financial administration, then how you collect the money from each of the owners. And here again, there is one controversy. Now, whether these maintenance charges or whether the charges for these facilities, should it be charged based on the per square feet ownership in the whole complex, or should it be unit-wise? Now you have, let us say, clubhouse. You have clubhouse facilities. Now, whether clubhouse charges should be, expenses should be shared per unit basis or per square feet. Let us say I have a 5-bedroom apartment. There is a 1-bedroom apartment owner. There is a 2-bedroom. There is a 3-bedroom. There is villas. There can be multiple, products today. Now, should you charge this maintenance based on the square feet I own to the total square feet, or should it be owned one unit? Now, I think even recently we have seen cases where they said that it has to be charged based on the unit. That is, let's say you have single bedroom house, let us say he is also using, and there is a 5-bedroom house. He is also using. So the concept that was advocated in that case was that you charge based on this unit, not based on the square feet. But if you see the Karnataka Apartment Owners Regulations Act, there it clearly says that these kind of charges should be based on the value. Actually, value is also not a perfect method, but it is based on the area, square feet. So I would say that this judgment definitely calls for a review. It will go to the higher courts. But I think the charging based on the square feet is the most appropriate and not the per unit. We can talk. Or I'm trying to say that, every level, these kind of questions come. Now, who is questioning here? Now, imagine the single bed person having, let's say, 600 square feet and 5-bedroom person having a 3,500 square feet. Now, we want the maintenance to be shared in the same area. What is coming behind? So who is questioning here? It's not the single bed person who is questioning. It's the 5-bedroom person who is questioning the methodology that is adopted. Again, go back to the same principle what was highlighted. Otherwise, this kind of question should not come. You are having 5-bedroom apartment, you are having 3,000 square feet. You should be ready to pay for it, because the whole common area, what is built, it is based on the whole area which are built up for the stay. So therefore, the proportion has to be based on the square feet is what I feel, and that is how Karnataka Apartment Ownership Act provides, and therefore that will prevail, but we have these kind of decisions. Even very recently this decision came. As a management, so you can create you can run this RWA also like a corporate. Fortunately in a RWA, you have entire expert that is required, right, to run even a Reliance or a Tata, because there may be somebody who may be a CFO, somebody may be a MD, somebody may be, everything will be available, but yet to run this association, we struggle, okay, because we have the knowledge everywhere, but it's like, ocean, water is there, we can't drink it. So likewise, the mentality that happens. We'll see that in the last slide, we'll talk how we orient to change the environment of an association and bring communal living as a, how to improve that, you will see. I got some thoughts on that. So you can conduct regular meetings, and then of course, while RWAs are required to have their office bearers, then they are supposed to conduct. I'll be sharing this entire presentation, so you don't have to make. We'll request them to circulate to everybody. You need to conduct meetings. Then dispute resolutions, you can also have one dispute resolution mechanism within the community, so that if there are small petty things, because we have, unsaid petty things are like, from you feeding to a parrot, or to somebody having a dog at home, or somebody is, cat coming at, some other cat is coming to your project because you have a cat at home, So, the disputes have no end. Somebody is doing puja there because he uses shank. It is disturbing somebody's sleep, and I think there is no end. And we have not seen. Unfortunately, as you see these disputes, as you hear this, meeting, we find that what is lacking is we are not enjoying what we have, but we are only looking at what we don't have. So it is like, that is our problem. We are like contentment. We are not looking at what we have. Even in the case of a husband and wife, I was giving one example, like, we see horoscope, and we say horoscope is matching, and therefore we fix the marriage. And then the expectation is that the wife should be meeting 100% to you because horoscope says it is matching. Okay. And husband should be meeting 100% to you. But friends, the fact is that in horoscope matching, if out of 36 qualities, if 18 matches, then it is passed. Then they recommend. Okay. Now, so it is very clear, out of 36, most of our case, we will be matching, if you are matched, it is 18 to 21. So now we have married. Now can we expect 36 from the other person? We are expecting, once we marry, 36. No. What is given to you is 50% only. Another 50 is not matching. Please understand. Okay. And we are all living with that kind of scenario, but we understand, we fail to see that other 50% is not matching, but we expect him or her to match 100% for everything. How can it happen? So even philosophically it cannot happen, but we look at only what we don't have. We only look at, point out others. In that process we lose the whole happiness, what we can enjoy by using what we have. So we have to learn to live, how to live with what we have, and how to, not to worry with what we don't have. That is the same concept, goes back to contentment. Now, developer's obligation, this is quite important from RWA point of view, like that is where 𝗍𝗵𝘃 is also taking steps. Let's understand developer's obligation, not from technical. Technical is one aspect of it. What else the developer's obligation? No, of course, he has to facilitate this mandatory formation. Then document transfer. Now, when you take over this management as RWA from the developer, important aspect is the title document, the parent document, the plan sanctions, various affidavits, historical 100 years of the documentation of that project, the title land. So that is something very important. Sometimes originals will be missing, sometimes some pages will be missing. So it is a very thorough technical diligence what you need to do to ensure that entire title documents are properly handed over. That is one aspect what we need to do is as a pre-takeover of the association maintenance. Then occupancy certificate, of course, is also very, very important. Then this common area handover. Now that is again very important aspect. Of course, by RERA says that within 3 months, but it sometime now you look at the projects the way they are developed in phases. So neither developer can hand over fully. So therefore, it is not appropriate for you to also take over fully. But therefore, you should be careful again when you are in association who are now just taking one phase building, where now another 10 phases will happen in the next 10 years. So you have to live within the project. You start living within the project while development is happening in the neighboring, immediate with your site within the neighborhood. So therefore, you should be careful. Now, the developer, what he does, he collects these advanced maintenance charges as a part of your transaction. He collects either 12 months or 24 months of advanced maintenance charges. Then he spends this amount during that period. Some of the developer will say that I will charge you on a open book concept basis. That is, whatever I incur the cost, I will charge you, plus I will charge you 15% for his administrative charges, because he has to also ensure that his team oversees during the period. But when there are multiple phases of the development, you need to verify whether the developer is actually charging the appropriate amount to the association for this maintenance, because there may be security, he may be charging 10 securities, let us say, cost, but that out of 10, maybe 6 are watching the neighboring site for the development. So you should be careful to see what is the charge actually he is doing. And that is one aspect. So the entire cost that has been allocated for this amount, which are collected from all of the purchasers, how that has been charged can be verified to ensure that there is a transparency in that. Another important thing happens is, some of the people, they don't pay this maintenance. Let us say, landowner does not pay this advanced maintenance. Now, you, as a society, you take over the entire project management. You have some units of the landowner, some of the developer, which has been sold, some of them are not sold, that will be sold in future. So you need to, when, let us say, he hands over the money. Now, he is giving you a lump sum amount. He is saying, hereafter, you be the responsible person for maintenance. Here is some amount. Now, that amount pertains to how many person-wise, how many purchases it pertains, how much is uncollected, how much to be collected. That aspect also you need to have a clarity, because that is the first point with which the new management takes over. So you need to have a person-wise, unit-wise breakup of the amounts which are collected or yet to be spent. Now, of course, when the money comes, there is a GST aspect of that. That is our next speaker will cover that. I'm not going to touch on the GST part of it, but this is the financial part of it. As a due diligence, as an association, you need to understand that person-wise, how much is collected, how much is uncollected, because non-collection is also a biggest problem in the societies. In every society, we have today, at least, there are 5-10 people who, for whatever God-born reasons, sometimes, of course, financial difficulty, they don't pay, and then it ends with a lot of disputes. Therefore, and whether you can charge interest, whether interest can be waived, that also becomes a very big aspect and big difficult propositions in a RWA, and therefore one should be careful about it. I mentioned about the deed of declaration. Now, in the deed of declaration also, you need to check up what are the things that they have actually declared. Now, what are the pitfalls? What are some points which comes for discussion is, let us say, number of car parks. Now, as per the plan sanction, the number of car parks will be there, which can be sold, which can be sold. Which can be sold. Then we have open car parks. Then we have the plan would have said that so many visitor car parks should be maintained. These visitor car parks cannot be sold by the developer. They should be kept aside for the purpose of visitors. No individual owner can have any right on that. It is meant for the visitors. Then if you have a clubhouse, in the plan section, again they would have provided that for the clubhouse, there should be a minimum number of car parks should be separately kept aside. Now, these aspects in the deed of declaration, developer is supposed to also declare that so many car parks have been kept for the purpose of visitors, both near the clubhouse and otherwise in the common locality, that cannot be sold. So that due diligence you should do, so that otherwise, later you will find that some car parks, even from these budgeted units have been sold, and then you will have no adequate car park for the visitors. So therefore, car parking always becomes one issue which you need to check. Is a deed of declaration, ensure that it is correctly disclosed, and check up the plan sanction, what is the bylaw requirement, which is told by the authorities to provide. Then as far as the undivided interest in the land is concerned, now there is one small thing that happens is land area may be as per the original patta, it will be, let us say, 1 lakh square feet, but as for the physical area of the project, let us say it is 90,000. Document shows 1 lakh square feet, physical is 90,000. Now, for the purpose of plan sanction, the authority will give the project sanction whether on 1 lakh or 90,000. So it is on 90,000. The plan is sanctioned for 90,000. Document will have 1 lakh square feet. Now the developer, therefore, although, let us say developer or the landowner, whoever it is, although they have legal ownership for 1 lakh square feet, because of the encroachment or whatever, physically what is left out is 90,000. So therefore, he will now allocate 90,000 square feet of the undivided interest to all the owners. So there can be some errors even here. So one has to look at to ensure that you title, both in terms of title and both this clarity comes in the deed of declaration. That title shows 1 lakh, but physically it's 90,000. Because these questions will arise when you go for a redevelopment. See, in Bangalore, we are yet to go for a redevelopment. None of the projects have come for redevelopment. In Maharashtra, all projects in Bombay, a lot of projects have come for redevelopment. When you go for a redevelopment, we need to have, have these kind of things fully. So therefore, that becomes very important. If there is a TDR that is loaded on the land, how that is dealt with. Because this TDR is just an additional facility. But when we go for redevelopment, we should be able to get the same kind of FSI what was available in the historical. Of course, if we get more, it's good. But if, let us say, for any reason, if you are not able to get, so that aspect also need to be checked in the deed of declaration. So DOD checklist, common area you check up, car parking you check up, open car parking you check up, separate car parking, then whether visitors car parking, then bylaws to be verified. Apart from the deed of declaration, bylaws they would have given, please verify the bylaws. Whether these bylaws are adequate for you, you need to make modification, and whether there is a power for modification, ensure that that is done. And now let us say deed of declaration is already registered, bylaws is already registered, and you find there are certain errors in the deed of declaration, insist the developer that he should do a rectification to ensure that the new deed of declaration captures all these aspects properly. Now, collection of maintenance charges. Of course, the developers I mentioned already. Now, the defect liability part of it. Of course, developer is liable for the defects as per the RWA regulation. That is also, it has got some limit because there are some items which are not covered. Then the developer would have taken AMCs. Let us say lift has got, let us say, 7 years defect liability from the let us say manufacturer. So those documents also you should collect it to ensure that you are able to make those claims in future. So all the documents pertaining to even the various equipments should be collected. I think anyway there will be a presentation on that separately, technical aspect. But documentation wise also it is important for the RWA to take the new management to take over this these details. So you should take also the equipment's inventory. Ideally, 𝗍𝗶𝘀 will teach you a lot of it. You should know every nook and corner of this common area. Thereby, tomorrow you are able to manage it better. So entire plans of this common area, some of your technical person should go understand that. So it is required that some of the residents who are having the experts, they should go and get entire knowledge. It's like if you are having your house, what and all knowledge you acquired, you should acquire now for the whole project, and that should be some voluntary somebody should come forward to understand that and take it. Now, coming to the committee, of course, only flat owners can be the office bearers. The tenants cannot be the office bearers. Tenants will be called as a non-voting members, so they can enjoy, but they cannot come into the management part of it. And so that is how it is. So you conduct the election, then election process, of course, it is normal. Then you have tenures, whatever it provides as per the bylaws. Then you can have the filings for the election. Now, committee members' obligations. Now, this is again, what we talked about today. We know the corruption is not only in the government, corruption is there in the corporate, corruption is there everywhere. corruption is a way of life for every individual. Either we are giving or we are participating. I think there is no one who is not connected to corruption. Even if you are not having any affairs with the government, you are in way or one or other way, either you are a giver or you are a receiver. So this RWA is definitely, it's a fiduciary position. So therefore, it's like a trust. All the residents in the community, they have put trust on the management. They have put trust, saying that they will they will take the money from all of them, and that money will be put to best to use and optimum utilization, and the benefit comes. So therefore, it's a fiduciary position. Whoever comes forward, they should have that kind of mentality to ensure that I give my time and ensure that it is not my money, I am managing somebody else's money. I will have responsibility one level higher than my own money. If my money, I can go and do what I want, but I should do all the due diligences while whatever comes with the affairs of this association, including financial prudence. Like you should ensure that when you give contract, let us say security agency, when you take quotations, ensure that you are utilizing the money in the best, and you are getting a best value for the money what you are giving. And therefore, whether you will have 5 securities, 6 securities, or 7 securities, this documentation should also be properly done. Whether how you take their attendances, whether they have come, they have not come, all that documentation should be properly maintained to ensure that tomorrow if you are questioned, and it is bound to be there. So therefore, one should have the complete records to ensure that the money is spent for the right purpose and at the right price. I'll skip some of them. Most of it you are aware. Just I put it as in the slide so that even somebody can read later. But what is important, I will highlight. One of the things is like a bank account operation. I just want to also tell you now. After the COVID, you would have found a lot of heard about these bank frauds, like online transfers. Where there is a risk. Now, just to give as per the RBI, if you let us say make a RTGS request for the transfer of money from your bank. Now, you have to declare 2 things. Who is the beneficiary? What is the beneficiary's account number? Now, let us say you write the beneficiary as, let us say, BESCOM. Beneficiary is BESCOM, and you put the account number of, let us say, one employee. First question is whether this RTGS will happen? Answer is yes. Okay, banker will do the RTGS. You have given the name, title in the RTGS, beneficiary name, BESCOM. Accounts number of the one person. Okay, the transfer of the money will happen because bank will not stop this. Now, who will get the money? Whether BESCOM will get or the account number will get. The money will go to the account number. And in the entry, in your bank statement, whose name will appear? BESCOM. Okay. Now Vishnu and company, the auditors, we have seen this happened. Payments have gone to Vishnu and company as per the passbook. In our bank, it is not there. These are the kind of frauds that happens in a online payment system. So I'm sure you are all, many of people will be running the corporates. So these kind of frauds have happened, thousands of crores in India already from the time COVID till today. Thousands of crores have happened. People have siphoned funds by just doing this trick, this online. So the online has got the risk of, now let us say that you are signing the check. Generally, when you sign the check, you will be signing like this. So can you see this account number, whose it is? It is not possible to verify the account number every time. So therefore, one has to be careful if you are making online payments. And so one of the things that we suggest is, you have an online payment account separately, keep minimum amount, and then transfer the funds. Then of course, in RWA, fortunately, your payments are limited and it's going to a specified party. If you don't pay today, next day security will not come, so therefore, there is no problem. I'm just saying the difficulty in a online payment, so management should ensure that there are proper checks and balances. You should have a maker-checker concept properly so that it's not one person. Don't ever have one person signatory. People say, I'm the president, I should sign check. Don't take that responsibility. It is better that at least two people sign. At least you can put the blame on the other. Okay. If you are signing like this. But let me tell you, today's world, everybody is signing like this. So therefore, even in our firm, I have signed checks for the salary, like we are 300 people, so payroll slip comes with 300. I don't check this 300. I just look at the total so that I know my monthly budget and is it matching. So we have paid, transferred money to the left to people. After 4 or 5 months, one day we came to know where is this man? He left 5 months back. So therefore, it is nothing. Don't think auditor means perfect. Okay. So therefore, these things can happen. We should be careful, but because we are having a fiduciary position. So you should also have a fixed asset register, maintain all those kind of registers as how you run a corporate. Don't think that you are running your house. How you are running a corporate, all those controls should be there. Procurement process, you should have vendor due diligence, you should have record management, you should have compliance monitoring also. Now, there are quite a few compliances that will come once you are RWA because there is a TDS that is required to be done on, then it has to be paid, then quarterly return has to be filed. All those obligations will come. So please be aware of that and ensure that, they are complying. Insurance, I don't have to talk. In insurance, now when you take I can just tell you the experience of the insurance is, now just don't be thinking that I paid the premium and therefore it is all insured. In insurance policy, very important thing is the disclaimer what they do. The claim, you have to see two things. What are the claims the company is promising? What are the claims company is not promising? That is very important. Because many a times you have insurance, but when you go for the claim, they will reject the insurance for these disclaimers. Due to these disclaimers, you are not getting the benefit. So don't, just because you have got an insurance policy, does not mean that you have protection, everything. Please do the due diligence of the policy, very important. Because many times we don't do this. We just say, okay, talk to him, okay, insurance done, insurance done. The disclaimer can, as the auditors, we have got experience where people have lost crores of rupees insurance claims just because the policy had exclusions. This exclusion is a major aspect one need to check. Of course, this DOD liability risk, whether you want or no, you can always decide. I think it's not required for RWA, but one can look at it. Now, AMCs, again, when you have this kind of various items, AMCs, you need to ensure that, again, what he excludes is in the contract. Just don't sign AMC. What are the classes he excludes, what is the class he covers, and why you are paying the price. Understand those things very clearly. Then contract types you have comprehensive, you have got item-wise. Of course, RWA is also liable for professional tax, 2,500 rupees per year. Please register that. And for if you have got employees where you are paying more than 25,000 rupees salary, you need to have the professional tax registration for that and do the deductions and remit it. Then you have got provident fund also can apply if you are a large organization where you have got people exceeding 10 or 20, the PF, ESI, these kind of aspects also will come into picture. I'm not going to detail that because you are all aware of it. And the income tax, now comes to income tax, of course, you need to have a PAN, you need to have a TAN, and you need to have the periodical filings. Now come to income tax. One fundamental concept of RWA is that, what is this RWA? RWA is nothing but let us say there are 100 apartment owners. Instead of they spending money for whatever the maintenance, etc., they are pooling the funds and then that is being spent. So therefore, this money what is collected, can it be an income of the RWA? Is it an income or it is your own money? You created a RWA for the purpose of collecting money from everybody and spending. Is there a distribution of surplus to the owners? Answer is no. The profit earned cannot be distributed. The money is collected in one manner. It has to be only used for that purpose. Of course, you can use, not misuse. Okay, so you use the money for the designated purposes. So therefore, in a RWA, the fundamental concept is that you cannot do trade with yourself. You are collecting money, then you can say, now you cannot say, because it is, this RWA is a collective enterprise of all the people, created only with the purpose of spending certain money for that purposes, not to earn profit. So therefore, it is extension of 100 people as they are coming together. So therefore, there cannot be any income. Whatever money comes from these members cannot be any income of the RWA. So that is one fundamental. It's a principle called mutuality concept. In the GST is going to explain it in a better manner, because the GST is currently still this concept is not fully accepted. It is controversial. It is pending before the Supreme Court, and therefore he is going to cover it in a better manner. From income tax point of view, it is well accepted that whatever money that is collected from the members, it is exempt under the concept of mutuality. I think we'll stop there as far as this concept is concerned, because on income tax it is very clear. So the income money what is collected, we'll see what are the kind of monies that are collected and what is the actually taxability of that under the Income Tax Act. So you collect maintenance charges, you collect penalties, you collect sinking fund, you collect transfer fees, RWA charges, amenity charges from the members. So whatever money you collect from the members, it is not an income for the RWA. That is clear. Therefore, the money what you spend also is not an, money you collected, money spent. The surplus, if any, is not your income. It is not taxable income under the Income Tax Act. Now, one concept is if the services are exclusively provided to a specific group of members while being denied to others. Now, then it becomes a service, then it can be controversial, it can be taxed. You have one facility, but everybody is not allowed to use that. Okay, either in a rotation, of course, same day everybody cannot use it, but if there are certain facilities of that nature, then that income can be controversial. Even if it is used finally by one of the members, there can be some controversy on that. Otherwise, any money collected from the members, there should not be a difficulty. Now, so long as the services are made available to all members, but are availed only by few, there is no problem on that. It will be allowed as a exempt income under the concept of mutuality. Now, let us say this RWA want to do one activity, collect money from the members, but with a profit motive. Okay, then there can be some controversy, but our department is not going through that to that extent. So money, so long as money is collected from members, I think by and large they are exempting it. There is one section 44A of the Income Tax Act. Whether this is applicable to these RWAs, the answer is no, because this talks about professional bodies and trade associations, and therefore that is not applicable. So the concept of income tax is that whatever you collect from the members is not liable to tax, because it is covered by the concept of mutuality. GST we'll see separately. Now, what are the books, of course, one need to maintain? Then, of course, today you have got software, you have got softwares for collections, software for buildings, then financial accounting. You need to still have cash book, bank book. In that, of course, these softwares are already inbuilt with those kind of facilities. Now, under income tax section 139, you are supposed to, apart from the just filing the tax return, you are supposed to attach income and expenditure account and balance sheet also. Even Karnataka apartment ownership, of course, there is nothing to file under that. But under the Societies Act, if you are continuing as a society, then you need to file the annual accounts with the society. So just to see some headings, now contribution towards maintenance charges, of course, it is not taxable. If it is collected from non-members, then it is taxable. Periodical subscription charges, rental income, including short-term rentals. Let us say you have some 5 rooms in the whole complex for the guests. Then you charge rent for those. But so it is paid not by the guest, it is paid by the members. Then there is no tax. Of course, member can collect from his guest. Okay. Then parking charges, let us say, if you collect parking charges, you can, that can be exempt. Income from clubhouse activities like whatever gym, whatever activities you do, if you collect it, that is not taxable. Then fines, penalties you charge, let us say shifting charges you charge, and so let us say somebody you penalize him for having damaged one part of it, or lift, let us say they have used for the carrying their goods, then you charge some extra charges because they have damaged the lift. All those charges, what is collected, although it is collected from one person, excluding all others, it is nevertheless, it will have the concept of principal mutuality, therefore not taxable. Advertisement income also, if it is collected only from members, then it is not taxable. But if it is all collected from non-members, this is subject to taxes separately by under income tax. So RWA is not altogether exempt from tax. RWA can have incomes which are outside its members, and they are subject to tax. Now, let us say the invoice is raised on the member, but payment is coming from the tenant. So, will it change the color? Answer is no. Even if the tenant pays in respect of these kind of charges, there is no change. That income is still covered by what you call mutuality concept. Now, there is one question that is going around, because in the income tax department, they have actually CPC, what they have done is, when you file the return for RWAs, they have said that, you are covered by section 167B, where, your income is liable to be taxed at maximum marginal rate. So, of course, what is taxable becomes other than members. So, therefore, you may have interest income, you may have certain rental income, etc. that may be there. Now, that at what tax rate you should be subject to tax, and what is the status under the Income Tax Act? These are the two controversies. One is it is an association of persons, is the one category, and then they have said that in the section 167B says that where the income of the members is not determinate, or or any of the members' income is above the maximum amount which is not chargeable to tax, then such associations can be charged to tax at maximum marginal rate kind of provision is there. But so this particular section has been misused by the department, where they have levied taxes by using this section. The error is, I think, on our part also error is there. So the way you should file the return is to say that this is not a RWA where members' percentage is not known. It is members' percentage is very well known, because that is how we are sharing the common area expenditure. So there is a very clear clarity as far as, let us say you have 100 apartments, let us say it is 2 lakh square feet, let us say I have 2,500 square feet. My percentage in this is 2,500 divided by 2 lakh square feet. That is a percentage which I am, in a way, directly, indirectly, I have the either obligation or ownership or, the right that I have. Therefore, it is an association with the persons, known number of persons, with their specific rate being determined, entitlement being determined, and therefore maximum marginal rate should not be applied is the current thing. I think they are already allowed in few cases appeals also, but this problem is still going on. So you should not declare that you are an association where members' percentage is unknown. You should say the members' percentage is known. Based on the DOD, you will get the percentages of each persons. Declare that and go with that. There is also a CBDT circular of 1982 where they said that association should be charged to tax like an individual. So therefore, the benefit of slab, what is available for individuals to all of us, that should also be available. Now let us say you are, if you are a cooperative society, let us say it is running, rightly, wrongly is another matter, because under the income tax, whether you earn the income rightly, let us say you do smuggling, you do the smuggling and earn income. Can you say that smuggling is illegal, therefore the profit made from smuggling is not taxable? Because the activity is illegal, but the income has come. Now you cannot do that, because income is an income. So therefore, let us say cooperative society, which is otherwise not the right vehicle to run the RWA, if it earns income, then the rate of tax is given. I'm not going to elaborate that. Let's say, then they have, they can go for this new rate also 22%, maximum 25% they can go and pay tax. This table also talks about the conditions to be fulfilled when you want to go for a special rate of tax of 25%. TDS is also applicable when you make the payment to various contractors. You have to ensure that you deduct the tax. You may be making professional fees, or you may be paying a contractual 194C. Again, those limits have been given here. TDS obligations, again, what is the threshold? Those descriptions are there here in this. calculation of income tax on rental income for, this is one important aspect. Now let us say you want to give the house, you are the owner, you want to give it on a rent. Now many times the question comes whether your rent should be whether you should take the obligation to pay the maintenance charges or you make the tenant to pay the maintenance charges. Now there are quite a few places people have taken, I will pay the maintenance, I take, let's say 30,000 rupees, instead of that I say 33,000 rent, I'll pay maintenance. Now if you do that, for the purpose of your calculation of income tax, the way income from property is computed is, it is like, I think I have a slide on that. Okay, I think there is a slide is missing. Okay, it's here. So gross annual value, higher of the actual rent or expected rent, less municipal taxes, that is the net annual value, on which there is a standard deduction of 30%. Now if you collect, now this 30% deduction is given to you whether you have spent 1 rupee or no. No questions are asked, there is a standard deduction. Now if you collect the maintenance also as your rent, that maintenance what you pay to the RWA is subsumed within 30%. Therefore you will not get extra deduction. So therefore you should always make the tenant to pay the maintenance. You take the net rent, then you go for this formula. It will you will get, apart from 30%, you will get that maintenance also as a extra exclusion from income. So therefore when you rent it out, don't rent inclusive of maintenance. Annual filing with the registrar, you have to file, once the AGM is over, you have to file the balance sheet with the registrar, and you also have to ensure that AGM is also conducted, otherwise there is a penalty. Now, sometime you want to do the charitable activities. RWA, let us say, a very good management team comes and they feel that they need to conduct some charitable activities, cultural activities. Of course, cultural activities can be out of this income because fortunately, whatever you collected from members is exempt. Therefore, there is no question of allowance or disallowance of the expenditure that is made out of that. So, to that extent, is excluded. But however, you want to pursue charitable activities separately, maybe you can have a charitable trust separately, so that then you can, maybe you can take ATG benefits and all that. Donors can get the ATG benefits. So you create a separate charitable trust. Okay. Now, what is the time now? Huh? Okay. I think 11:27. Sorry, are we waiting for tea or anything? No. Oh, okay. So 8 minutes, 27. Okay, 10 minutes. I'll just take this one concept which I thought I must share. I'm taking the liberty because he started with the positive mind. So let me carry it a little bit more positively. Okay. So now we know what is the difficulties in the RWA environment. I'm sure each one of you know. So what is the problem? What is the root cause? We have to look at it. What is the root cause for this problem? Apart from what Sir said, now we have, India has got such a big heritage of our literature. Vedavyas Rishiji has written, and we got Bhagavad Gita, we have got Bhagavatam, we have got so many 18 Puranas. What are these books prescribing? And because these are not available to us today in the school, it is not available to us in the house because parents don't know, of course we don't know. So therefore, now, but collectively, can we bring some of these points to the residents? Can we use the facility for these kind of good things is what we can look at as a RWA. Collect, there are very good speakers are available to teach. Of course, they may not be practicing, but they are very good speakers. There are speakers. Don't go with, because one person told me that, you don't watch what I do, but listen and practice what I say. So that you look at like that, okay? So because doing I got my own difficulties. I can say that karmanyavadikaraste mafaleshu kadachana means it says that you put your best effort. Don't look for the results. Okay, so that is what is told in Bhagavad Gita. But generally, let us say I am a CA. When a client comes, now what do I do? Look at how much fees I can get. That is the first thought comes to my mind. When client comes, first thought comes is how much will I earn out of it? Okay. But let us say I change myself to say, what can I do for him? How can I help him? Okay. Now, if I orient my mind from that perspective. And I say that he has chosen, among the 5,000 chartered accountants in Bangalore, he has chosen me to address his problem. So he comes with a problem. So my duty is to solve that problem. Now, if I focus how to solve his problem in the best possible manner in the world, regardless of the fees he gives, what can happen? My service quality itself can change. It can improve. I get better ideas. But the moment I know that he is going to give me 500 rupees, now I will orient, okay, I should not spend more than 10 minutes with him. So then I limit myself. Then in that 10 minutes, let us say you only talk some nonsense, then we get 2-3 minutes to apply our mind and give that service. But if I change, now of course it may not give you result in one go. But let me tell you, friends, I have been, I was fortunate to get this kind of approach and I applied it. There are clients who came visitors. I spoke in 10 minutes. They said, I went to that place, this place, nobody told me. This is a wonderful solution. It works for me. He gives fees more than what I expected. So there are some people who have taken advantage of that. Does not matter. But there are enough cases where people have paid more than what even we thought we can charge for the 10 minutes. So therefore, these principles are available in our books, in our philosophy. We should, as a RWA, we should bring these kind of thoughts and lectures and make people to listen to that and to see how to change them. One. Then cultural programs, of course, India has got such a good heritage, develop that. See, today in the school, children have no place to play. There is just they go, they study and come back. There is no place to space to play. Even if they can play, it's only out of 100 students, only 10 people can play back. Rest of them have to watch them like we watch cricket, in the TV, before the TV. By watching TV cricket for 20 years, can you throw one ball and make the other person out? No. So whereas if you go and play for 1 hour, you can also, you get everything. So today our children's life has become like this. They go to the school, they are not getting any opportunity to play themselves. So therefore, RWA can be a very good place where the children who are within the community, they can be given these kind of opportunities, and cultural programs we can actually do, we can make them to develop. That can be the RWA's responsibility. You are creating the society, you are creating the next generation who are going to rule this country, and therefore what school cannot do, we can do it at home. RWA's responsibility. Personality development programs focus on children. Children is the very, very important in the society. Definitely RWA should take some responsibility to give them what they don't have at home, because they don't have parents at home for 20 hours. They don't have facility in the school. So therefore, what they don't have at home, please give them in the community place and grow them. Focus on aged persons. Of course, aged persons are there again. They don't have anybody to talk, because children won't talk to the parents, have no time. Husband, daughter-in-law will not speak. Son is busy, or the other way. So therefore, the aged persons, they are actually wealth of knowledge. Sorry is there 85 years. What is the wealth of knowledge and how deep-rooted it is? Such persons are there in every RWA. Make use of their time, give them some time. They also feel that, okay, we are recognizing, and they feel it is very good. And therefore, we should make use of their time. Find out. I'm sure all things are available within the RWA. We don't have to go outside. People are available, but we have to recognize it and identify them and nurture their qualities and take benefit from them. Because if I have to listen from my father, I feel hesitate. But if it is coming in the open forum, then we reciprocate that. Right? We actually respond to that. So therefore, that is a better place. Because even a best of the best person, for him to tamper his son, it will be very difficult. That is a life today. So the person may be very successful, but his children will not be successful, need not be successful, because there is a difficulty. So therefore, generation gap is widening. Therefore, we need to bring this RWA concept into that, community living. Now, I just want to also spend 1 minute on this. There is a 𝗍𝗆 Samvada, which is there in Mahabharata Anushasana Parva, on which you will find lectures. This is the 𝗍𝗆 Samvada is the Shiva and Parvati discussion. Parvati asks questions, various questions. In this world, somebody is born rich, somebody becomes rich at the age of 60, but then he cannot eat sugar, he cannot eat anything, nothing. He has got money, richness comes at 60. Somebody becomes rich at 20. Somebody has no eyes, somebody has no ears, somebody has no legs. And somebody is talking, everybody listens to his voice. Somebody, when he talks, nobody cares. Why this discrepancy? Why not everybody like Chinese? Like same. Can you have a standardized people in the society? Everything is standard. So level playing field. Can you have that? So Parvati asked this question. Shiva says, if you want to know the answer for this, you should know how this world operates. Okay, there is a software to this world. According to the Shiva Parvati Samvada, it says there is a software to this world. The creator, today Citibank has got account. He has got bank account. He has got a server. He is sitting in Ireland, Aramse like this. But millions of transactions happens. Whether anybody's balance has gone wrong, answer is no. If Citibank have, and they are calling every day, please come open accounts. They got adequate capacity. Now Citibank has got this. What the creator has done, he has created one sun, which is 24-hour sun. There is a vayu, there is a air. This air is the one which is connecting all of us. Air is the one which is networking the whole world. Through this, what is the job of the air when it goes inside? Don't think that air is, this is a mechanism system done to only for us, for our survival. As per 𝗍𝗆 Samvada, it says, this air what goes inside, it is capturing kaya, vacha, manasa, what you can do. That is, you can do something here, something here, something here. It is recording every minute. Our kaya, vacha, manasa, whatever we do, imagine we do something, the air is recognizing because it is recording and our online accounting is happening. Okay. Good, bad, ugly. Whatever you do is good, bad, ugly. These are the three things you can do. Either do good or bad or ugly. But you can do through three things. Kaya, vacha, manasa. You can do ugly, even this. Please understand, as per this, even this gets recorded. So what you do is the first thing, gets recorded. Online accounting is available. Today we are able to understand that. Okay, online, because you don't require mobile. Moment I switch on, I can speak to my brother in US in a minute. So that is the kind of power of this air which is being used today, which is the creator who has given. That is the first thing. The next thing is how to improve. Let us say you are having this record, then why philosophy says you do one 𝗍𝗆, you do this one, you get a better result. Okay. So you have done good, bad, ugly. God has, what he has done, the next thing is he created an algorithm for the result to be given. Once you have got a good, bad, ugly result, what you have done, you should be given the result of that. That good, bad, ugly result is then linked to your date of birth. The 9 stars were moving. It is linked to that. As the star moves, your result, your new installment will be released. That is why it is not the Saturn is doing bad for you. When you enter that, your new installment comes. What karma you have done? It's a karma theory, which is very well explained. If you understand that, it will change. Parvati asks one question, how to improve this? So then Shiva says only one answer. Kaya, vacha, manasa na 𝗍𝗆 𝗶. That means the only way to respond to this software is kaya, vacha, manasa na 𝗍𝗆 𝗶. Don't hurt others. Through kaya, vacha, manasa. First thing in our life is not to hurt others. If we can achieve that, then Shiva says, let us say you achieve this kaya, vacha, manasa na 𝗍𝗆 𝗶. If you achieve, that becomes, you become a very Shīlavanta person. You can get Indra Padavi, he says. Then Parvati asks, how to improve further? This question is wonderful. Shiva says, there is only why we have come to this earth. One question he asks, whether you have come to this earth to become chartered accountant, lawyer, justice, engineer, is this the purpose for which you have come? Or what is the purpose for which you have come? Shiva says, there is only one purpose for which you have come. He is called 𝗍𝗆. We have come to this earth only to help others. So in every walk of life, we are supposed to see how can I help, not to see how much I get. From morning to evening, what are we doing? We are saying she is not doing, driver has not done, he has not done, she has not done, my father has done this, my mother has done this, my brother has done this, my neighbor has done this, cat has done this, dog has done this. But what have we done? What have we given? So the philosophy says simply, you have come to this earth for paropakarathamidam shariram, and do that. Then the last word he says, if you live like that, whole world will touch your feet. If you can live like this principle, how can I help? If you go with that principle, whole world will touch your feet. That is a kind of response you will get, is what Shiva says. It's not me. I thought I'll share with you this what we have in the books, just for us to take it and use it. With this, friends, thanks for the time. Thanks also for listening to beyond the brief of this last session. But I thought that to make good that out of 360, this zero what is there, 36 we'll discuss after evening, zero cannot be discussed and solved. It has to be dissolved. For the dissolution, the last solution is these good principles what Sir said, and these books what they say, so that we can resolve the many unknown problems which are faced by the RWA. You have to dissolve it. The way you dissolve is to change the mindset of the people around us through these concepts. For that we have good heritage, make use of it, and let us pray for better RWAs in future. Thank you.
Hope all of you are enjoying the presentation. Thank you, sir, for sharing a valuable insight. Now I request Chitralingappa to present the sapling to the speaker. Sir. Sir, please.